What is up, everybody, and hello again. Thank you for tuning back in. PLAYlikeWHOA here, hopefully your favorite gamer. Wanted to make you a video today to talk about the gaming news, kind of the highlights coming out of the weekend, of which there was quite a bit. We had PAX going on. So for those of you that don't know what PAX is the Penny Arcade Expo. It's effectively a gaming expo that focuses on the more independent kind of games and things like that, historically speaking. But that's not to say that the big boys don't show up to play. We had Ubisoft there over the weekend featuring Watchdogs. We had Respawn there talking a little bit about Titanfall. We had even Microsoft showed up with the Xbox One. So we did have some big players there over the weekend. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what they covered. First off, I'm going to choose to start with the hype monster itself, Titanfall. Titanfall did come out, or rather Respawn, and announced that the DLC pack will be coming out soon. It's going to be titled Expedition. It's going to include 3 new maps titled Swampland, Runoff, and War Games. Now, Swampland and Runoff are kind of exactly what they sound like. They're very marshy, swamplandy, a lot of high vegetation areas and things like that maps, okay? Where War Games, they said, is going to be based off of the initial training mission model. So it's going to be a little bit like that, obviously, we would assume. They did also say there's going to be some free content that is going to come out and be available right around the time that they launch the new map pack. Now, in that free content, it is going to include some new burn cards and a few new game modes. Now, one of the game modes is actually going to be a 2v2 version of Last Titan Standing. So all you pilot pros out there that have been wreaking absolute havoc on all the noobs, dropping the woe on folks, you're going to be able to get into some Titan 2v2 action that I'm sure you guys are absolutely going to love. It sounds like a lot of fun. Now, the DLC, excuse me, as a standalone is going to be $9.99, okay? And obviously it's going to be included with the season pass. And it looks like these are going to be available, I believe, in May. So right around the corner here for you. The next game that I want to talk about is Borderlands. And no, we are not talking about Borderlands 3. Okay, I did make a Borderlands 3 video to address exactly where Gearbox is and what they're thinking about Borderlands 3. The new Borderlands game that is coming out is actually called the PreSequel. Now, it takes place before Borderlands 2, and it kind of focuses on the story of Handsome Jack and how exactly he rose to power. It is going to release on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and as of right now will not be available on Xbox One or PlayStation 4. They did do some really cool stuff with this. It takes place on the Hyperion moon base, so the environment is really cool. There's some interesting physics. There's areas where you're kind of like out in space, so there's low gravity situations. I like how they've incorporated, like, for the fire weapons, when you're out there in space, the fire weapons are kind of ineffective because, well, there's no fire in space. There's no oxygen. But you can get into kind of these zones where you trigger like some kind of a device that creates gravity in an atmosphere. And in those areas, the fire weapons become really, really, really effective. They've also added a couple new elements. We've got cryo weapons that are basically going to shoot ice bullets that freeze people. Then you can do drops on them or hit them and break them into a bunch of little bits. It's really, really cool. They also added laser weapons to this. In addition, when you're out in space, you have an air pack. You can, like, kind of purge that air pack and use it as a jet pack to kind of help boost you over some of the bigger chasms that are out there. For me personally, I think the thing I'm most excited about the next Borderlands is the fact that you can actually play as Claptrap. Who would have thunk it? That before Borderlands 2, Claptrap was like this little one-wheeled, low-riding, little robot ninja of badassery. I am very, very curious to see how the story ties in from how he goes into one of the elite fighters up there on the moon to the robot that we meet in Borderlands 2. So that is going to be very, very, very cool. something I'm excited about. The next game I want to talk about is Evolve. This is a game that has been near the top of my list ever since I first heard about it. For those of you that don't know what it is a 4v1 match where one player plays a massive, like a monster, a big Goliath is what they're calling it, okay? And then the other 4 players actually play hunters. Now, there's different classes. There's like a medic and a support guy and a tracker and things of that nature, okay? It's effectively a 4v1 survival game that is just rolled up with this really, really cool concept. Now, before, when we saw the game, the system for the Goliath was kind of choose one skill, okay? And those skills were like breathe fire, there was a strength one where you could throw boulders, and then there was like a speed one where you could kind of fast dash, okay? And then as you played, you kind of opened up the other ones until you had all 3. Now, they've changed that system a bit, and now, when you first start, you've got 3 skill points. You can apply those anywhere you want in those skills. So you can put all 3 onto one. You can spread them out, do 2 on 1, 1 on each, whatever you want to do. But you start with 3. The longer you kind of play and survive, the more skill points you get, and you can apply those to these powers, okay, the breathe fire, the strength, or the speed, and kind of grow them and evolve those powers. Like something that we saw was with the rock smash, where you throw the boulder, okay? With like 1 skill point on that, you can throw a boulder, and you basically throw a big rock. By the time you get up to 3, the rock is bigger. It's like basically on fire. It's like a big lava rock, okay? Kind of like molten lava rock. When you throw it, it breaks apart or explodes, and you kind of have like this wider effect radius where you're getting kind of like splash damage and things like that. So these skills are now becoming visually more stunning and more lethal as they grow, which I think is really, really cool. I think this adds an element of strategy and flexibility that we didn't see before to the Goliath class, we'll call it, in Evolve. So, again, this is one of those games where the more I hear about it, the more excited I get. So definitely keep your eyes on Evolve. It is coming, I believe, this fall to PlayStation 4 and I think Xbox One. It's a multi-plat game. The next game I want to talk about is Diablo 3. Diablo 3 has constantly, over the last 2-3 weeks at least, been on the top of the video game charts for PC. So there is a ton of people playing this game. Diablo 3 is coming to PlayStation 4, and it's coming in with some really, really cool new features, okay? They're basically like asynchronistic features that are going to create this focus on people playing together even if they can't play together. Now, I guess I'll help you make sense of that, okay? The first thing that they're adding to this when it comes to PlayStation 4 is like a mail or a mailbox, okay? Basically, that's going to allow me, if I'm the player, to mail or send items to one of my friends on my friends list that also plays the game that's offline, okay? And then when they get online and play later, like let's say I play during the day and my brother plays at night, I can send him stuff so when he logs on, he can get that at night and use it. Now, this is also going to incorporate something called player gifts, okay? So basically what player gifts are is anytime a legendary item drops in game, okay, there's a chance that a gift will also spawn for a friend on your friends list, all right? Now, basically, if a gift spawns, it's going to be for somebody specific on your friends list. So you would see like a gift for Mark or a gift for Patrick or you know, a gift for James or something like that that would pop up. Now, if you go over and you interact with that, you're actually going to pick it up and it's going to go right into their mailbox. So whoever it's intended for. It's a really, really cool feature, I think. So the next time that they get on, they can see it, open it up, they know it's from you, okay? And then it will roll for the character that they're using to give it the best chance of being a big value item for the character that they actually have active at the time. I think that's a super cool thing to add into this game that's going to kind of like give everybody more of a community gaming feel. The other thing they're adding is a nemesis system. Basically what a nemesis system is when you die in the game, like if a monster kills you, okay, that monster has a chance to level up and morph into a new, more powerful enemy. If this happens, that monster will morph into a more powerful enemy, a portal will open, the monster will go through that and completely disappear from your game altogether. Okay? Now, it could be hours later or days later or whatever. Eventually, one of your friends is going to be playing Diablo 3, and they're going to kind of like start getting these signs something is happening, and this creepy music is going to start playing. The portal's going to open, and that monster is going to come out into their game. Okay? Now, it's going to be kind of like named after you or something like that, so they'll know that this monster is a nemesis that killed you. All right. Now, if your friend kills the monster that killed you, okay, they're going to get a loot drop, and you're going to get some gift drops out of that. If the monster kills them as well, then the process continues. It gets even bigger and even more powerful and opens another portal, and then it's going to eventually port into a friend on their friends list. And this process continues as it gets more and more powerful until somebody finally kills it, and then there's this trickle down, okay? Which I think is a very, very cool thing. The other thing they're incorporating to console, which is completely new for Diablo 3, is Apprentice Mode. Basically what Apprentice Mode does is that they understand that somebody may play the game all the time. Okay, so they're going to be leveled way up. And I may not play it as much as my friend, but we still want to play together. If me, as a weaker player, gets in game with one of my friends, what the Apprentice Mode is going to make happen is, as long as we're playing together, my weaker player is going to have a power and a strength boost, so that I can actually play in function on that higher level with my friend that's ranked much, much higher than me. So I can actually be an asset to the game, as opposed to just going and getting absolutely slayed anytime somebody breathes on me. Okay, so that's very cool. In addition to that, in Apprentice Mode, me as a weaker player am actually going to be getting bonus XP, okay, an XP boost just for being the weaker player, as well as us both, myself and my more leveled up friend, getting another XP boost on top of that for playing together. So it's really going to help stronger players level up their friends that are weaker players to create a better gaming experience overall. Now, the loot that drops is still going to drop so that it's in relation and at the level to whatever each character is at. Okay, and how they're going to isolate that is that loot drops on the PS4 version are going to be marked. So there's going to be like a player 1, a player 2, a player 3. So you know who each loot or each item is for. And it doesn't matter who picks it up. If I'm player 1 and I pick up a player 2 item, okay, that player 2 item is still going to go into player 2's inventory. It's not going to go into mine. And basically what this is going to do is you won't have to stop your game to clean stuff out, you know what I mean, that maybe should have gone to somebody else. Like if there's a demon hunter and you're not a demon hunter and you're like, why do I have this? You don't need to like trade stuff all around like that. It already knows who's who and will place the loot in the appropriate person's inventory based on who they are. So that's really, really cool. I think it's a time saver. It speeds up the gameplay and gives it this more arcadey vibe. Okay? It's also looking like this is going to be a very, very polished game for the PS4 because it's inheriting all of the updates thus far that the PC team has done. Okay? In addition, it's receiving kind of like if you get a destruction bonus on the console, it will give you like a speed boost or speed bonus so that you can actually, again, it's speeding, ways to speed up the play to make this, I think, maybe more console friendly. I don't know what the reason is for it, but it creates a more high action experience, I think. Not that the game already isn't high action enough. I think that's very cool. Now, the console, when it comes out, is also going to receive all of the Reaper of Souls and the original game with Acts 1 through 5 and the new custom Crusader class and adventure mode. So there's just going to be a ton of content that comes out with Diablo 3 when it drops on the PlayStation 4. Very, very cool stuff. Now, kind of my ugly duckling, my black swan of the whole thing, which I do want to talk about now, is Wolfenstein. It's a game that I wasn't hugely excited about before, but now the more I see about it, the more interested I get. This is Wolfenstein New World Order. It's right around the corner. It's about to release. I believe it is a multiplayer game. Okay, it's heavy. It's got that kind of like ridiculous action hero attitude. It's got great villains. There's this guy named General Deathhead that looks really, really crazy. It's got a good balance of drama and cheesy action that the series is really, really kind of known for at its core. You know what I mean? The enemies, excuse me, the enemies are really, really aggressive. I mean, they'll flank you and force you out of cover and do all of these things. It's a really cool, just go in, kind of blow-ish up, get your brap on kind of game. So I think I'm going to check it out where I wasn't before. I think this is going to be on my playlist now after I've seen what they've done at PAX East. So very, very cool there. Some honorable mention games, like I say, I mean, it's the Penny Arcade Expo, and it's supposed to be centered more around these kind of independent or smaller kind of developers. Now, I talked about the games that in the news that is very important and relevant to me, okay? But that doesn't mean there's not other great things going on behind the scenes. So in my honorable mention, I do want to talk about a game called Below. Okay, it's Caffey's new game, and it's kind of this like darker, more McCabe, Zelda-y kind of game, I guess is the best way I can put it. I did see some gameplay of it. The visuals are really, really stunning. There's cool environmental play. I think if you're into this kind of thing, it's definitely a game that you should check out. It's a game you should at least look up and see, and maybe you'll give it a chance. The next one that is in my honorable mention list is called Not a Hero. It is a super retro 2D shooter. I mean, it's got that classic pixelated blocky gore to it. This just, I think, is so cool that they're still doing stuff like that intentionally today. Okay, but it's extremely fast-paced and fun to play. So definitely check out a game called Not a Hero if you get a chance to look that up. The third one I want to give mention to is Transistor, okay, which I've seen before, but has had some polish done to it, okay? We've seen it, and if you were interested in it before, look at it again today. Look up new footage, because the visuals are a lot crisper, and they've done a lot with the sound to make the sound significantly better. So check that out. Those are my three mentions: Below, Not a Hero, and Transistor. So definitely check those out if you get a chance. I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in, sticking back with me. As always, like, share, subscribe. Please spread the word about what I'm doing over here, and that is trying to bring you the absolute best in gaming news and how-tos. Once again, I am PLAYlikeWHOA. Regardless of what console you're on, happy gaming. For right now, I'm out.